Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donahue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donahue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. We are the podcast that talks about creeps from the past to the present. Today, we are talking about a present-day creep, but before we get into that, just to let you know, we use salty language in this program, so if that is a problem for you, you will probably want to listen to another show. Just putting that out there. We do have a basic Facebook page. We don't check it very often. We're much more interactive in our Facebook group. You have to type in What a Creep podcast group in Facebook. It's really the only reason either one of us goes to Facebook, really, nowadays.
It's true.
You have to answer 3 questions in order to get in, and you have to kind of behave yourselves and not be an asshole. And we just keep it nice and light in there.
Yeah.
It gets a little salty sometimes, but nothing too terrible. But that's where we're the most
Correct.
interactive. We are on Twitter at CreepPod because somebody had What a Creep for 10 years and never used it.
Creep.
We are on we are on Instagram at What a Creep Podcast. And we have an old-timey email. What a Creep Podcast at gmail.com. Yikes. What am I telling you guys? The heat finally broke here.
Yay! Margot got to go outside today, y'all.
I went out for a long walk. I had a sandwich. It was like really nice. Anyway, What a Creep Podcast at gmail.com. In all of those places, you can send us your suggestions for creeps and non-creeps. And if you would like some stickers, send us an email. And wherever you are on the planet of Earth, we will send you some stickers. Sonia, do you want to tell them about the website?
I guess. No, it's at whatacreeppodcast.com, and it's everything you ever wanted to know about our podcast, but we're afraid to ask. I mean, there could be a lot of things you're afraid to ask. I assume, but maybe I shouldn't do that. There are links to all of our episodes, including our sources for each of those episodes, because we source each episode. We're not making this shit up. We're not pulling it out of our ass. Oh, I'm swearing again. I'm so sorry to the people that don't like the salty language. Should we release a Kid Bops version of our podcast?
Fuck no.
On our website is also a link to our merch shop where you could get T-shirts and mugs. I'm drinking out of my Damn It Max mug right now. You could get tote bags. I have one of our tote bags. They're great. And there's also a link to our Patreon page. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
Yes, I do. We have our first 5 seasons, correct, up on our Patreon wall. Those are the first 5 seasons of our show. Plus, we put out 2 bonus episodes a month. We just put out our first yesterday for August. We also put out a newsletter every month. It's just a way to help us support the show. One way, by the way, to help us get our sources. Like we said, we subscribe to so many news organizations and subscriptions and all that good shit. So that's a way to do it. And we want to say thank you to Lacey, Quinn, and Dave. And I've reached out to everybody. When you do sign up, I always say, if you want some stickers, I'm happy to send them out to you, but nobody got back to me. So check your spam folder for that. Also for the newsletter, if you did sign up for your Patreon page, please do that. But once again, you know, if you want some stickers, whatacreeppodcast at gmail.com.
Yes.
Also, if money is tight, and Sonia and I totally understand and get that, just, leave a review for us wherever you get your podcasts. And we'd like to thank the people who left us a 5-star review in iTunes. 32100, Zzon6870, and Samantha Lee 81. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And the people who send us some reviews on Good Pods. We've been like up in the top 10 for Good Pods lately.
Thank you so much for that.
Which is so cool and so amazing. And we've been doing really well in iTunes as well. So everybody, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Y'all are the best.
You are the best. We love
You
doing
wanted the best.
show.
You get the best.
Yes. You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna keep you down. We really do love it, and we're having such a good time putting the show together. And one of our favorite things is interacting with y'all in the Facebook group, and like we're super grateful.
Even
so
when
thank
it's
you.
salty, just so you know.
Even when it's salty.
That's
Even
what
when
makes
it's
it fun.
salty.
And
Yes.
if this is your first time listening, just so you know, what we do is one of us comes up with a creep and the other one is challenged then to come up with a non-creep. And we love it when you send us suggestions, by the way, because
Yes.
sometimes when coming up with that non-creep is the toughest part of the show.
Yeah.
Not today. I think everyone's going to like our non-creep. But Sonia, who is our creep today?
We are going to be talking about David O. Russell.
Really?
Oh, really? David O. Russell is a director. He's done some movies that I'm sure you've seen. He's done Three Kings, which I really like.
Me
I
too.
here's the thing. I like a lot of these movies, by the way, and I
think
do.
a lot of them are just okay.
That too. So, Three Kings, The Fighter, American Hustle, Silver Linings Playbook. He's been nominated for 5 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globes. He's won Independent Spirit Awards and BAFTAs. He's been nominated for like Directors Guild and Writers Guild, all kinds of stuff. He's also kind of a man baby who throws on-set temper tantrums, and he's been accused of groping his own niece.
Yuck.
Yeah, so I think the O in David O. Russell stands for, oh my God, what a creep. So sources
what
for...
an asshole.
Oh, gross. Sources for this episode, Britannica, The Cheat Sheet, Chicago Tribune, The Daily Beast, The Daily Dot, Gawker. This one, I never pronounce it right. Pajiba?
Pajiba?
It's like Pajiba. Pajiba. Sorry, y'all. Longtime listeners know pronouncing things not my jam. Good thing I host a podcast. World of Real, and of course Wikipedia. Always Wikipedia. So let's start at the beginning. The O actually stands for Owen. It's David Owen Russell, born on August 20th, 1958 in New York City.
Wait a second. It's not O apostrophe like O Russell?
No,
It's O
Russell.
dot Russell?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He's David O. Russell. Maybe
Well, I
there's
guess there are
another.
a million David Russells. That makes sense.
There must
actually.
be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Continue.
Yes. His parents worked for Simon & Schuster. His father was the vice president of sales for that company, and his mother was a secretary there.
Simon & Schuster, you said.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. When he was 13, little David made his first film for a school project. He used a Super 8 film camera. He was just filming people around New York City. Teenage David super loved movies. His favorites were Taxi Driver, Chinatown, Shampoo, typical stuff.
Right.
Probably had a Scarface poster on his wall, just, typical. But he really wanted to be a writer. He started at the high school newspaper. He wrote short stories. In high school, he was voted class rebel. Ooh.
Where did he go to high school?
Somewhere in New York. I forget. Were you voted anything in high school?
No, we moved a lot, so I was kind of shy.
Yeah, I actually very shy in high school. I also was not voted anything. People probably didn't know who I was. He went to Amherst College in 1981. He majored in literature and political science. And after there, he worked as a progressive political activist in Boston. So he used to canvass and raise money. He used his film expertise to document bad housing conditions and things like that to help fundraise for progressive candidates. He made his first documentary short about the Hispanic immigrant community in Boston, and this got him a job at PBS, where he worked on the show Smithsonian World.
Oh, I used to like that show.
Yeah. He did a few movie shorts, including one called, this is a great name, Hairway to the Stars, and it starred Betty Davis and William Hickey.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And his shorts were always playing at like the Sundance Film Festival. He's a talented dude.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, of course. Nobody says he sucks.
Yeah, no, there's a reason. We're going to talk about this in a second, but he's a talented dude. So he made this award-winning short film for a Boston television station. After that, he received a grant from the New York State Council of the Arts and the National Endowment for the Arts. And he was supposed to make this movie, and it was about a fortune cookie writer, which, by the way, I would like to see. If he wants to make that movie, I would probably pay to see it. But instead, he did a movie called Spanking the Monkey.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know this movie?
It's about the kid who's fucking his mother? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay. Just to be clear, he did return the money to the National Endowment for the Arts because they're like, that's not what we paid for.
Right. And it's gross.
So, yeah, it's a fucked up, like, it's a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
It came out in 1984. He won 2 Independent Spirit Awards for that. So he won Best First Feature and Best First Screenplay. And I think it really does show, like, his humor's super fucking weird. And he is a writer. Like, this is it's a fucked up movie, but whatever. So here's a quick Internet Movie Database, like, style rundown for you because I just think we need to point these things out. So he did a movie called Flirting with Disaster. A lot of people love that movie. I'm not one of them, but whatever. I love Three Kings. That came out in 1999. I Heart Huckabees. The Fighter came out in 2010, and that one was a big deal. 7 Academy Award nominations. Christian Bale won for Best Actor. Michelle Leo won for Best Supporting Actress. Did I say Michelle? I'm sorry, Melissa Leo. 2 years later, Silver Linings Playbook, 8 Academy Award nominations. Jennifer Lawrence wins. It's, big deal. Then American Hustle comes out in 2013. Christian Bale, Amy Adams, Bradley Cooper, 10 Academy Award nominations, like Best Picture, Best Director, blah, 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 all these things. It didn't win anything, but it was nominated for a ton of shit. Then 2015, Joy with Jennifer Lawrence comes out. She was nominated for an Oscar, but the rest of it wasn't. He has a new movie coming out in November called Amsterdam, and it's got this amazing cast. It's like Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Anna Taylor-Joy. I love her. Like Zoe Saldana, Michael Shannon, we love him. Timothy Olyphant, like Taylor Swift, Robert De Niro's in there. So all these amazing people. And I'm mentioning all these movies and all these Oscar nominations because people wonder why actors work with someone like David O. Russell, despite knowing his reputation that we're going to talk about here in a minute. And that's because his movies make money and his actors win awards.
Yeah.
This is why. Like, so if you're like, oh my God, like, why are all these actors signing on for someone who's such a dick on the set? That's why. They're like, I'm willing to put up with his bullshit.
Because I want an Oscar. Or I want to be nominated, yeah.
Yeah, they want to be recognized, Actors want awards. They want to be acknowledged for their good work. They really do. So that's why they're doing it. I also do want to point out he does some good things too. Like he is a longtime supporter of something called the Ghetto Film School, and it's about like supporting emerging filmmakers in the South Bronx. He's a big supporter of a therapeutic boarding school for children and young adults that have special education needs. These are things that hit me in a soft spot. And especially after Silver Linings Playbook, he became this very vocal, active advocate for mental illness treatment and support. And he's a big supporter of autism research, another one that like hits me in a soft spot. So I feel the need, you have to point these things out.
Yeah. Sometimes our creeps aren't totally creepy.
Yes.
But
And we've had a lot of like serious fucking creeps.
Right.
The last couple of weeks. So I thought, let's just go with a little man baby.
Right.
Like,
right.
It's fun. So here's some creepy stuff. So throughout his career, Russell has been this like temper tantrum throwing asshole on the set. And I want to give you a few details. So in 1999, on the set of Three Kings, he got into it with George Clooney. Tensions apparently were always running high on this set. And one day, Clooney saw Russell yelling at a crew member. And George Clooney got in his face and he said, "I told you, motherfucker, if you're going to pick on somebody, pick on me." And then Russell said, "Why don't you fucking remember your lines for once?" And then they got into a physical fight, like a fight that people had to break up. George Clooney would later say that Russell yelled and screamed at people all day from day one. And that according to him, Russell made the script supervisor cry. He physically pushed an extra and embarrassed a camera car driver. And he describes the fight. He says like he tried to headbutt him at one point. Like it was a really big deal. George Clooney has said they are not on speaking terms now.
No, he hates him.
Yeah, and he said, quite honestly, if he comes near me, I'll sock him right in the fucking mouth. Like, so I don't think they're going to be working together again.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Having standards.
Yes, imagine that. And George Clooney, by the way, it's not like I know him personally. I wish I did. But he seems to have a very good reputation as being like a really nice guy on the set. Like,
I've only met him once and he was lovely.
Yeah. Oh my, like, he's so hot. Anyway, one time Russell assaulted director Christopher Nolan. They were at a party in Hollywood. Apparently, Jude Law had been cast in I Heart Huckabees and that he was going to leave that production and instead go do The Prestige with Christopher Nolan. And Russell put Nolan in a headlock. Like,
What?
not as a joke. Like, really. Like, physically. I guess. I'm like, he physically assaulted him and demanded that the director like show, quote, artistic solidarity and give up Jude Law so that he could do Huckabees. Law went back to Huckabees. He never mentioned the project to David O. Russell ever, but everyone in Hollywood knows this story. And apparently, David O. Russell was so shitty to Jude Law on the set of I Heart Huckabees that he had like a minor breakdown while filming.
So he never worked with David O. Russell again.
I believe he has not.
But he
Correct.
was embarrassed into doing it after
Yes.
he offended Christopher Nolan.
Yes. Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. I have some stories about Jude Law, but I'll tell you two off the air.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've also heard some things about Jude Law. So here, 2004, there's the time David O. Russell called national treasure Lily Tomlin a cunt on the set of 2004's I Heart Huckabees. You can find the videos on YouTube. It's everywhere. He pushes all these papers off a desk and he yells at her and he's like, "I'm trying to fucking help you. I'm not here to be fucking yelled at. I've been working on this for 3 years and I'm not going to have some fucking cunt." And he kicks a trash can. Like, people are ducking out of the way. Yell at me in front of the crew. He goes on. He calls her a bitch. And that she needs to act like a, quote, fucking grown up. Meanwhile, he's throwing a tantrum. He's acting like a baby. The video I watched, she's totally calm.
Yeah.
And she's like, "We need to get some insurance on this director." Like, she's fine. She eventually, like, we're looking like 10 years later, she's doing interviews. She's worked with him on a couple of things since then. And she's like, "I was very stoic in my suffering," is what she said, but that they have overcome it.
Wow. I know. I don't know why she ever worked with him again after that.
I don't either. And I feel bad for everyone on that set.
Yeah, because some of the people looked really terrified. Like,
Yeah.
because he really fucking freaks the fuck out in those videos. We should
He
post
does.
something in our Facebook group. You should.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. It's all over YouTube, but I can post something. So in 2011, he assaulted his own niece. So this story has made the rounds again, and it's what put him back on my radar because I somehow missed this story the first time. So in 2011, he's at the gym with his niece, Nicole Peliquin, and she is transgender. So they are at the gym together and they're working out, and he offered to like help her with ab exercises, and she was like, sure. And then they were chatting about like her transition and things like that, and he felt her up. He like felt up her breasts and all this stuff. And he admits to doing it, by the way. Like, he doesn't even deny it. He says that she was acting very provocative towards him. His niece, y'all, his sister's daughter, acting very provocative towards him. And that he was just very curious about her breast enhancements. I'm like, you don't get to grope people. No charges were filed, and like I said, he doesn't even deny it.
Well, he's the director of Spanking the Monkey, and I said earlier that it was about effing his mother, and I shouldn't have put it that way. I'm sorry. That is incest, and that is gross.
Yeah,
it's
but
that's
gross.
How it was discussed at the time, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
No. And the movie, the movie is played kind of as a dark comedy.
Yeah, it's a strange movie. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And I'm not recommending it. I've seen it, and I was like, Jeremy Davies is doing a thing in it, and Jeremy Davies is kind of
Manson later.
He's always doing a thing, by the way. He's just one of those actors, and I'm fine with that, by the way. He is a good actor, but it's a fucked up movie. So like I said, he doesn't deny it. He says she was acting provocative towards him, blah, blah, blah. No charges were filed. And he says like that his niece was always causing drama, and she has become very provocative and seductive. It's her fault.
You have to do anything, though. I mean,
I know. I'm like, grow up, dude.
You're at the gym. You could just turn around and go to the elliptical or something. I mean, give me a break.
He's fucking gross. Here's another one. So there was this email hack of Sony Pictures back in 2014.
Oh, that was
fun. A whole bunch of emails were released that were about David O. Russell. One of them mentions that he brought Sally Field to a party, like as a guest, and then said something so shitty to her that he made her cry.
What did he say to our treasure, Sally Field?
I cannot find what he said to her, but I was like, fuck anyone who makes Sally Field cry. I will not have it.
Did he say he didn't like her? He really, really didn't like her?
That must be it. That must be it. I'm like, what a monster making Sally Field cry. It makes me mad. So on the set of American Hustle, this was revealed in the hack. That's why I bring it up. He grabbed one of the guys by the collar on the set. He was cursing people out repeatedly in front of others, and he was so abusive to Amy Adams that Christian Bale got in his face and told him to stop acting like an asshole. Do you know how much of an asshole you have to be for Christian Bale to be like, bring it down, bring it down? Like, you're acting like an asshole. That's like going to Russell Crowe to like learn about phone etiquette. Like, fuck, like, damn, you're a prick. So Amy Adams, she's very honest about it, and she talked about it in an interview with GQ. She said that he was very hard on me, that's for sure. It was a lot, and I was really devastated on set. By the way, she's so good in the movie. She's really good, and I'm not saying his shit is right. I'm just saying Amy Adams is always good. And she said that he's not that way to everyone. She said Jennifer Lawrence doesn't take any of it. She is Teflon. And I am not Teflon, but I don't see it like I don't like to see other people treated badly. It's not okay with me. Life to me is more important than movies.
Yeah, and I think Jennifer was like younger and more into her career. I think now that she's a mother, I'm sure she's going to be, maybe she'll be a little more different about it now.
Yeah, and Jennifer Lawrence has said like this is in 2015, by the way. She says she loves working with David Russell, and she's like, I'm not sensitive. She's like, we can really talk, and this is pretty young talk, like man to man. That's what she says, and that she thinks he respects and understands women, and that he doesn't treat women differently than he would treat a man, and that he doesn't tiptoe around women. And I was like, he treats people shitty, men and women, men and women.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when asked about this quote, Amy Adams said, well, if you mean he doesn't treat people like a lady, I can agree with that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he's a dick. So this is how he interacts with Jennifer Lawrence. He yells at her to get reactions from her, to like improve her performance, quote unquote, talks to her like she's a man, according to Jennifer Lawrence, and she's fine with it. They got into a huge screaming match on the set of Joy, and like here's the thing. If that works for her,
right,
I guess that's fine. But here's the deal. You're exposing everyone else on the set to it. And it creates a shitty, fucked up work environment for everyone else.
And also, who gives a shit about the movie Joy?
Also that. Also, like, it's not just Jennifer Lawrence. Like, Jennifer's like, he can talk to me like that, and that's fine. But it's not just you, Jennifer Lawrence.
He's talking of people on the set, and he's treating everybody badly.
He's treating everybody badly, and he's exposing all of them to you being treated badly, which is shitty.
Right. And then it
trickles
down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then everyone thinks that you can treat people like that. And like, I'm like Amy Adams on this. I'm Team Amy. I'm probably always Team Amy because I love her. But like, life is more important than movies. Life is more important than work. Like, there's no excuse for this kind of shit. You and I have both worked in publishing before. We're like, people are shitty. Right. They're shitty. And they like, that stuff impacts everyone around you.
Yeah.
It creates for a very
hostile
work environment. Yeah. And people are just trying to do their job, man.
Right.
And
how do you get better at what you do when people are just screaming around you?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, he's just a fucking creep. And maybe as he gets a little older, he's going to mellow out. And I just don't think it needs to be this way on movie sets. It just doesn't. And we hear about shit like this all the time. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I'm like, like all this shit with like Jared Leto, and he's like, I'm in character, and like he's like being shitty to people because he's like, I'm in character. I'm like, fuck off with that shit. Like, just do your job and let other people do their jobs, and don't act like a creep. Don't act like David O. Russell on the set of movies. Like, this is stupid. This is stupid. So that's our creep, David O. Russell.
Yeah, the hostile work environments have to go, and that's just some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not okay. It's not okay to be shitty to your staff.
When you see the clips, and just, like she said, just hit YouTube and just look up David O. Russell. You'll be shocked at like just how ugly he gets, especially with Lily Tomlin, and just like in her face about it. It's just not acceptable. It's just horrible.
It isn't. Yeah. And that's the one that's captured on video.
Right.
And if this is how he's treating Jennifer Lawrence, Amy Adams, Lily Tomlin, or physically fighting with George Clooney, how do you think he's treating the key grip?
Right.
Or the sound guy, or the people that don't have the platform that these people have? Like,
right.
I guarantee you there are more stories about David Russell that we don't know, because, the poor, like, costume people, probably, the hair people, like, all these people that are not movie stars that are putting up with his shit.
Well,
he's a creep.
He's an asshole, and we're going to talk about someone who worked for another asshole.
Yes.
In our non-creep. So let's take a quick break.
Yes.
And we'll get to our non-creep. All right, Sonia. Do you know who Jennette McCurdy is?
Yes, I do.
Who is she?
An actress. Who's she? Who dis?
Who dis?
She was on iCarly?
Yes.
There you go.
She was born June 26, 1992, because we are old, in Long Beach, California. She was a huge star with Nickelodeon. She also had a show with Netflix a couple of years ago. She's been a working actor since she was a child. She was a part of a whole system that her mother basically put her up in auditions, and she supported her family. Her father wasn't really very much in her life. She pretty much had to help pay the bills since she was a child. She also had a recording career. I mean, it's pretty... We've heard these stories over and over again the last 20, 30 years. Like, there's some kids that hit it and they hit it big. She put out a book. iCarly went off the air. It was Ariana Grande was a big star, and also Miranda Cosgrove were big stars that she worked with. And one of the things was that Dan Schneider was the person that was in charge of all these shows at Nickelodeon. We hope to do a show about him one day. There are a million blind items about him out there.
Yes.
We'd love to do a story just about with blind items, but we really can't. So we'll just talk about Jennette and what we can talk about, which is that she refers to him as the creator in her biography, which is called, I'm Glad My Mother Died. This book was released by Simon and Schuster, which is why I brought that up before. This past Tuesday. It did so well. The physical book is sold out. Like, they have to go to a second printing. This is the first week. This never happens anymore in this world. I mean, it's still available on an ebook and the audiobook. But if you want to get a copy, or you want to get a copy from your library, it's going to take a while, just to tell you. And I got a copy myself, and I also got the audiobook because I loved it so much. She's been through so much in her life. She's been through a lot of abuse from her mother. Her mother was a person who went through cancer, who went through her own, let's say, religiosity. Her mother was a Mormon.
Got it.
Went through a lot of different religions, but Mormonism was the one she tried to stick with, and she tried to put her daughter through that. Jennette went through the whole child star system, and also, she put Jennette through the whole eating disorder system, which also becomes a part of it for a lot of people. And Jennette's just been through the ringer, and she's come out of it as somebody who's, in recovery. You're never over things. Right. She's only 30 years old. She's still kind of coming through the other side. But she's so witty and funny and smart and honest about what she's been through, and honest about these feelings that here was somebody who was abusive to her mother, the person that's supposed to take care of you, the person that's supposed to love you more than anybody, that put you in a dangerous situation.
It's so sad.
It's terribly sad. And her mother was sick half the time.
Yeah. So, I love that you hit home the honesty of it. Like, I think that we need more of that.
Yes.
I think, this is how we can help people learn some empathy, is by being more honest and being like, I'm a human who's going through shit just like everyone else. And good for her. You and I,
off the air, have conversations about the high road. Yes. And the high road is really filled with a lot of bullshit sometimes. It's filled with a lot of I'm fine. I'm okay. Nothing bothers me. Because you don't want to look like anything's bothering you. Yeah. There's that aspect. And also, you don't want to make somebody else look bad. And people make you feel guilty for making somebody else look bad.
Yes. There's also a toxic positivity attachment to it. I have so much good going on for me that this one thing, I really shouldn't let this one thing bother me because I have so many other amazing things. And it's it can be both.
Yes.
You can be grateful for those things and realize that thing is fucked up. And it's okay to call out bad behavior.
It's okay to call out bad behavior. It's okay to know that, yes, you had a great success in a career that most people would kill for.
Yeah.
And hate it. And say she doesn't like the show that she was on. It's not fun for her to watch it.
Yeah.
It represents a lot of pain for her.
Yes.
It represents a big part, a chunk of her childhood she just never got to experience that everybody else. We've all heard these stories before.
Yeah.
But like I said, she does it with honesty and openness, and it's really nice to hear that. And it's nice that people, like I said, have this empathy, because like I said, I'm so sick of people who put it out there like you have to pretend you're not hurting, you're not, you know what I mean? And it also to protect people who hurt others in some weird way of like making the world seem nicer than it is, and that's better than being honest is just not okay by me.
It's not okay by me either. And what she's writing about in particular is really hard because, like you said, this is her mother, her parents, like her mother in particular, like the person who should always be putting you first, looking out for you, like protecting you. And she did not do those things. And like we, you know, you and I will even say, like, if it's not one thing, it's your mother,
it's your mother,
So like, you know, but there is like, that's such a hard thing to write about.
Yes.
And it's something that so many people can relate to. Like we all, like, I have a really good mom. And don't think I don't know it. I'm really lucky, but I have so many people in my life that didn't have good moms or good dads or both. Like they had, you know, it's fucked up. And I'm glad that she's writing about it, and I'm glad that people are responding to the book and they're buying it. And by the way, the cover is amazing. I went and looked at the cover and I was like, this is why people want the physical copy, because it's a really good cover.
It's an amazing cover, and it's such a zeitgeist. Like she's really hitting a time where people can handle that truth. Her mother died. Her mother was 40 or 41 when she died of cancer. Like I said, the woman had cancer like half her life.
Yeah, and they can never fix anything.
And Jennette felt bad, but at the same time, Jennette couldn't heal until her mother was gone.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what had to happen for her to even get to even partly becoming the person she is now.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And so, and people, you know, because people have to be shitty. Like there's some people on Twitter like, how dare you talk about your mother that way, and how dare you, you know, and
in case of emergency, clutch pearls.
Exactly. It's such bullshit. And it's okay to say, you know, you're struggling, and it's okay to say that, you know, this makes you feel better, that you know, this is part of your healing. And that, and that you miss your mom, even though she was terrible. Yeah. Like that's okay too.
It's complicated. Yeah. It's also complicated. It's not just a Facebook status, y'all. Things are complicated. It's hard.
Relationships are very hard.
Yes. And almost everybody has trauma, has things they're going through. Even a beautiful actress on a TV show for kids, like, has problems, because we all do. So carry that empathy with you around and realize that, like, most of the time people aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about their shit. And we're all just doing let me rephrase that. So many people are doing the best they can.
Right.
So that's a really good pick. I'm glad you picked her.
Yeah. She's been on everybody. You know, a lot of people are talking about her this week.
Yeah.
And just and you've been hearing about it, you've been wondering if you should get her book. Get her book. And it's a great read. It's a quick read. She's funny. She's sharp, and it's important.
Yeah.
This is one of our quicker episodes, Sonia.
It is, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we just need to do an asshole creep.
And that's what we did. We'll be back next week with a new episode. If you like the sound of our voices, and a good friend of ours, by the way, Sonia, that listens to our show, Salma, she says our voices are very soothing for her.
Aw, that's very sweet. What about when I talk like this? Is that?
We also co-host a show called Dorking Out. And Sonia, what are we going to be dorking out about next?
We are going to be talking about Midnight Run. This is one of Margot's favorite comedies, and it's currently streaming on the Criterion channel. So I can't wait to rewatch it. It's been a little while. It's been a while since I've seen it.
It's been a while.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really fun rewatch. And we're doing a guest appearance on another podcast next week.
Right.
Should we announce that too?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we're going to be on F This Movie. We are big fans of Patrick Bromley over at F This Movie. We have been on the show together once before to talk about Revenge of the Nerds. Margot's been on a few times. That's how I found Margot.
That's right. That's how we started everything.
That's how we started everything. And we're going to be revisiting
St. Elmo's Fire.
Because we still feel the burning inside. Like, we have to talk about St. Elmo's Fire again because it needs it.
It just needed
it. The world needs us to talk about St. Elmo's Fire again.
So follow our social media to find out when those episodes are dropping. We love it when you use when you have ideas for, by the way, creeps and non-creeps. We love it when you use the Annie Potts gift. We got one from Ghostbusters. That's Facebook group, Creep Pod on Twitter, or What a Creep on Instagram. Our email, once again, is whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. Use all those things. And Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok, where I'm mainly posting videos of my dogs right now, but I should learn to post some other things. Where can people find you, Margot?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick for Twitter and Instagram. My site is brooklynfitchick.com, and I am at Margot Donahue on the TikTok. We will be back soon with a new episode. In the meantime, stay cool, stay safe. Don't be a creep.
Creep!
Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.